Hey everyone, it's March 29th, and I'm going to do a quick video regarding my injury, workers' comp injury. It was a request from Robin, and so I hope I can be thorough and helpful to anybody who may be experiencing similar uh, pain or circumstances. So, real quick, I worked for California State in public safety, and I was on the job probably a little over 8 years. And the job required all different kinds of positions. You could work, if you didn't have a set position, you could work a job where you sat down all 8 hours, or you worked a job where you were up and down at 8 hours, or you were at a job where you were up and walking 8 hours. So the last position I held before I got injured was it was a first watch, which is a graveyard to most of you. And I took that position to kind of just take a break from the daily administrative and programs that went on. So after about probably 3 months into that job, it was a job that I had to walk all night long. There was times I didn't get much of a lunch, and we didn't have set lunches. You just grabbed it when you could. But yeah, so in my job, it was a 24/7 job, and like I said, it was public safety, so they had to cover all positions all the time. So that meant there was times where you were mandated to work a double shift because they couldn't find anybody else or your number was up. So it was during a time where we were being held over for another shift quite often, like twice a week. And I noticed one night walking out to process a truck that it felt like I stepped on a big rock on my right foot. And it got to where I couldn't put any weight down on it. And so I kind of just worked with it, um, compensating for it for about 2 weeks. And then I got held over again to a walking job, and it was going up and down stairs. And I got to where I could not, it, my feet burned so bad I couldn't even touch them to the ground. And after that shift, I went directly to the return to work coordinator, and I said, "You guys got to send me to a doctor." And I told her what happened, and I told her where I am, and they immediately sent me out. And I went and saw the doctor, and they did a ultrasound of both my feet because it started my right, but for me compensating, it went into my left also. At that time, they diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis, and so the norm is like the 1 millimeter or something like that. Mine was 7.5. He said it was off the charts. So immediately they got me on crutches and told me not to be walking around, to put ice on my feet. Let's calm down the inflammation, and then we'll go from there. So he got the inflammation calmed down, and then he put me in a series of physical therapy routines. And I felt pretty good, and so I went back to work. And lo and behold, within 2 weeks, it inflamed again. So they took me off work again and did the same thing. And on top of this, he had prescriptions he was giving me. I was taking ibuprofen every day. And he had started me on the steroid packs. I don't remember what they're called. Uh, Steroid shots weren't, he didn't think they were necessary at that time. So we went the easy, I guess the conservative way. So got myself back to working, and lo and behold, it wasn't a couple weeks again. And I tried to run. When an alarm goes off the yard, you are mandated, if you are a responding position, to run. I couldn't run. It killed my feet. And I mean, I did my best. I didn't just stop, but I called him after work on my way home and said, "This is what happened." And he goes, "You're not going back to work." So he took me off work again. This time, he put me in physical therapy, and no, he just took me off my feet, period. No, we did a surgery. He put me into surgery. That's right. So I had surgery on one foot, and 6 weeks later I had surgery on the other foot. I was off all summer. The only good thing is I got to go on a cruise, which I had already booked and paid for prior to all this. And then I decided, they called me at home while I was off work to promote, and I decided to promote so that I would not have to run as much and I could be off the line more. So when I went back to work, which was in November, uh, I tried working. I did work for about 6 months. However, it's still, I didn't complain. I just kept working with it. It was burning so bad. I knew I was going to have to be off work. I was a newly promoted, sergeant, and I couldn't do it. I wouldn't call in. I had a lieutenant ask me if I wanted to work a desk job, help my feet, and he had full trust that I could do this job. And it's one of the most stressful jobs of all jobs. It was where you had to hire the next shift. And I was working first watch, so I was hiring for the biggest shift, which is second watch, which is your days. And I went, oh my God, you want me to do that? He goes, I know you can do it. And I said, okay. So I went for it. I learned it, and I was doing it, and I got into it around December, and I went into it. I was in it for, man, it seems longer than 4 months. I might have my times off. But about April of 2007, after working injured for 2 years, even sitting down, my feet were blown up, and I had to hold myself over. If I couldn't, when my number was up, I had to hold myself over. And he told me to go around that. And I said, no, it's not right. The contract doesn't say that, and I'm not special. So I did. I held myself over, and I couldn't walk. And so the doctor took me off. He goes, okay, we've done everything possible. Oh, and prior to that, to get me back to work one other time, is they did 3 weeks of cortisone injections. Yeah, he called it an aggressive approach. So by 2007, April 2007, he took me off, and he looked at the ultrasound, and he goes, it's just back up. And not only that, now your feet are burning. It's probably nerve damage. And I just went, and he goes, I'm going to refer you to the state doctor, refer you to permanent and stationary, which means you cannot do your job any longer. And when I heard that, I just went, because honestly, it was my dream job. I like law enforcement. I like the uniforms, and it just fit me. I wanted to go into a man's world, and that's what I did. I was devastated. I knew my pain, and I knew that I couldn't run, and that wouldn't be fair to my partner or to staff. And so I saw the workers' comp doctor, state doctor, in the 1st of June, and he was going through everything, and he started using a reflex hammer and checking my reflexes, and he hit the bottom of my foot. It took everything I had not to hit him and throw him through the wall. It hurt so bad. I was in instant tears, and I don't usually cry when I'm hurting. And I was in tears. I was hurting so bad. I was crying like that. And he goes, you have got a lot more going on than what's showing on these reports. And I said, I've never had anybody hit the bottom of my foot. And he goes, he sent me to another part of the office, and they did a nerve conductor test. And he came back and he says, you've got nerve damage. He goes, you cannot do these jobs, and you're not going to probably be able to do anything that requires you to be sitting or standing for very long periods of time. And I just put my head down, and I just thought, oh my God. And he goes, I'll take care of you. You deserve a good settlement. Well, that's when my faith kicked in, and I just turned to God and said, please take care of us, whatever happens. I knew with the pain in my feet that I probably could not do anything else. I also knew that to sit down at a desk, I could only maybe do it for 4 hours, and then I couldn't even guarantee I could go back to the job the next day just because of my feet. And my mind had been broke. I I had tolerated so much pain that my pain tolerance was higher, and I didn't take drugs while I was working. So it was ibuprofen and mentally managing my pain. What's happened since? Well, the doctor did take care of me. I got a decent settlement. I did get life benefits and a paycheck the rest of my life, and it also will go to my wife if something happens to me. Uh, but for the last, how long has it been now? That was in 2007, the last time I worked, uh, 12 years. So basically, what happens to me now is I'm good on my feet between 4 and 5 hours. It depends on what I do. And then I have to get off of them. And what happens is it's like a volcano. I'm always in pain. So when I wake up in the morning and put my feet, which go right into insoles, when I put my feet down on the ground, I'm about a 3. I'm never 0. Within about an hour, I'm 4. Within about 2 hours, I'm 5. Then, depending on what I'm doing, I go just up the ladder to 10. And 10 being that you don't even count it anymore. So I've learned that instead of taking all the drugs, I was so messed up on drugs. I gained 50 pounds. I was bloated. It looked like you could take a pin and pop me, and I would just fluid, not air, but fluid would just come pouring out of me. And that was something to deal with too, was the weight gain. But I opted for a spinal cord stimulator, and they implanted that in 2010. And I tried to go back to school, but all the medication and sitting, I just couldn't do it. After so long, I just couldn't do it. So I had to come to terms with it and told myself, well, it's I was given a paycheck a month, so why take money from somebody else that doesn't have a paycheck and try to work part time somewhere? So I just laid the working thing to rest. I tried for 2 years and I just couldn't do it. Not that I didn't battle not working. I was only 45 years old. But uh, so the stimulator helped me. What it did for me was it blocked the pain from my brain. So in my feet, instead of feeling burning and vibration pain, I felt pulse sensations. And if I sneezed, my leg would kick up. I mean, it's really weird because the leads lay on your spine to block those nerves. And so it blocks the pain from going to my brain. So I did really well. I had the horse. We got into horses because I had horses as a kid, and it was very therapeutic for me. It gave me purpose, and so I was at my horses every day, probably for about 2 or 3 months. And I took on training a couple horses and ground training them. I didn't ride train them, but when I turned off that stimulator, all hell broke loose of pain because everything built up. It was like a volcano and it just cut loose. I could not use my spinal cord stimulator 24 hours and 7 because when you sleep and you roll over, you change the positions of your spine, and those two leads would get strong and it would just wake me up, and it would be frustrating, and it wasn't worth it. So I did not uh, turn it on at night. I opt out to take a medication that helps nerve pain so I could go to sleep at night. So I did break my foot on the spinal cord stimulator because I did not feel it. When my feet get weak, when they are tired, my ankles will roll. And you know how rolling off the side of your ankle, how that feels? I was hauling my saddle outside because I was going to ride. and my ankle rolled, and I threw my saddle, and I fell, and I didn't feel anything, but I went off my right ankle. And then a couple days later, I couldn't put my foot into the boot. And I was like, what the heck? And I said, Tony, look at my foot swollen. And I called my doctor, and I said, I think I broke my foot, but I had my stimulator on. I didn't feel it. And they laughed at me. So he goes, come on in. So he took an x-ray, and I broke my foot. I broke one of the bones in my toes, my second toe, the bone between the joint and my ankle. I don't know what it's called. Metacarpal. I don't know what it's called. And he was like, oh my gosh. He goes, just leave it to you. And I said, yep, if there's a way to find it, I'm going to find it. And I said, it kind of makes me nervous about using my stimulator. He goes, well, maybe you should just only use it for so long and then know that you can only be on your feet for so long. And so I backed off immediately. I was in the boot for 8 weeks. And I backed off, and I didn't do that anymore. I started listening to my body, and I started listening to my feet. I do use the stimulator when I am not riding, but when I'm just walking around or if I'm painting, I'll use the stimulator. But I know now that I only have about 5 hours max on my feet before things start going south for me. And then that night, it's even worse. So my pain is escalated. So I manage my pain. For me, a lot of it's mental. Like right now, I just got off a ride. I haven't taken anything yet. I haven't put anything on my feet yet. And I'm probably a good 8+. I'm dealing with it. And that's my problem. I deal with it a lot more than I could put some stuff on it. And I will after I do this video. If this turns out, I'm already at 17 minutes. But I've had to go through emotional turmoil at different times, feeling not being productive, feeling like, I'm just a recliner body because of the weight I've gained and the way my body has changed. I never had pear hips. I've got pear hips, okay? I blame it on sitting in a recliner. And I say recliner because even my couches are recliners for me. So I'm always having to put my feet up. So, my body has shifted to this body I am not used to. So that's one of my struggles when I talk on these videos. My other struggle is I am not a fan of pain medications. So I do my topical ointments. One's an anti-inflammatory and one's lidocaine. This is the lidocaine. It helps with the nerve burning. They just take the edge off. They're not miracle drugs. But that's what I deal with. And how do I deal with me just not having a place to go 8 hours a day? I do projects. I go out to my horses and do what I can there. But a lot of times I do projects. And now that my stepdad's gone, I feel more obligated to be at my mom's more because, she's by herself. So that's what I do, guys. It's not an easy journey. I don't plan out what I'm going to talk about when I do these videos, so sometimes you'll hear me be really down about my feet, and sometimes you won't hear about my feet. So I just take it one a day at a time, and really, guys, when I say that, that's what I do. You have to, and I'm not perfect. You know this on these videos. There's times where I really get down and feel like I can't get a hold of anything, and that's where I am. I just do what I can, and I always feel guilty when people see me use the handicap because I don't look injured. But, people tell me to get over it. Just get over it. And I'm like, okay. But I'm just conscientious that way, and I've learned a lot not to ever judge somebody else, when they've got a walker. I had to use a walker for a year, and anyway, it's been a tough journey, but it's something that you can manage, and it's something you can do without drugs if you just dip yourself into your inner self and understand that this journey is not always guaranteed that it's going to be normal. But whatever's pitched at you, you can survive it, and you just take it one day at a time. And I'll be damned if I'm not going to make sure that my life, the one life I have, is that I'm going to concentrate on the negativity or the adversities that's been given to me or thrown at me. I won't let those strip me of life. I will keep moving and keep going on as I have. One day at a time, I grow and I get better, and then I have days that I'm not. So, in case you're wondering if you have the same thing, this is lidocaine 2.5% and prilocaine 2.5% cream. And my other one is Declofenac. Declec, de, de, Declonec. I don't have one right now with me here. It's 3%, and that's an anti-inflammatory. So if you have anything like mine, talk to your doctor about getting those medications. I don't know how much it costs. I've got workers' comp, but they do take the edge off. So this is a long video, and I'm really sorry, but it is an in-depth of explaining what my injury is and where I'm at. So after cortisone packs, after physical therapy, after crutches and being off my feet, after me paying for acupuncture therapy, I did that, after surgeries, and then after aggressive cortisone shots, I finally was retired at 45 years of age, saying that I could no longer do my job. So anyway, guys, take it one day at a time. Always make your journey as perfect as possible. Always make your journey as simple as possible. I'll talk to you later. Bye.